What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast, a weekly show where we talk about video games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between. I am one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined by Rachel Mogan.
How's it going?
If this is your first time listening, thanks for joining us. You can subscribe to the show across podcast services such as iTunes or SoundCloud, as well as our YouTube channel where you can watch the video version of each episode. Have thoughts, questions, or suggestions? Email us at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com or find us online at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Finally, we are a completely listener-supported show, so if you are enjoying and really loving what we're creating, please check out our Patreon page where you can support the show, and in return, we'll give you cool perks like getting the episodes early before their general Tuesday release and access to our private Team Chat Podcast Discord server. If not, that's totally fine. I can even screw it up even while reading. That's fun. We'll keep making the show week after week and bringing you great gaming content. Find out more at patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, and a special thank you to all our current patrons who help make Team Chat Podcast possible.
Someday you'll be able to get it perfect.
Someday.
Without reading it. I don't know when that day will come.
I mean, last week was great.
You appear to be progressively regressing somehow.
It's an improvement. That one I'm only saying it was the flub because it's still new. It's still fresh.
It is. It's fresh and new, just like every episode.
That's right. That's right. Everything is brand new, fresh out of the box. All right. Well, we have a little bit of a smorgasbord, you could say, of topics. I have recently been playing for the last week. I've been playing Far Cry 5, so we're going to be having my first impressions for that. We also wanted to talk a little bit more about Rime, because we released on our Twitter, we put out an article that was shared by Eurogamer, talking a bit about the development process of Rime, so we want to talk about that a little bit. And then Mogan wanted to kick us off before our moment with Mogan. Was a little bit of chatter.
Yeah. So just, I'm really into Overwatch still.
Same.
Same. It has not yet lost all of its vigor and fun for me. I still play on the regular. And that's largely also because of the interest generated by the Overwatch League. Mm-hmm. So the official esports Overwatch League, which is currently on break the week that we're recording, because they're between stages 2 and stages 3.
And who won? The Excelsior?
So stage 2 just finished. New York Excelsior did win against the Philadelphia Fusion. Shocker right there. The Fusion kicked out the Spitfire. Oh,
shame.
Dude, it was a beautiful game, though. Did you watch it?
I did not.
Oh, you can go back and watch the VODs on Twitch, like the official Overwatch League Twitch. What a game.
Was it crazy?
Like, in terms of actual, quality gameplay, it was, from a viewer perspective, top-notch entertainment.
Well, because the Fusion... Right, Philadelphia Fusion.
Philadelphia Fusion.
They didn't do very well at all in stage 1.
No, stage 1, they were mid-tier.
Right.
They were doing okay. They were definitely better than the Fuel, which is trash tier.
Right.
So they were kind of mid-low. They couldn't quite figure out where they were going to land. And then in stage 2, they had all of those meta changes when they actually put the new patches through. And Fusion is thriving in that environment because they're a super brawl-heavy, scrappy team. They want to get up in your face and just battle it out nonstop.
Nice.
And without the Mercy meta being a thing anymore, that's what they're great at. So they have shot up in the ranks. They've had the longest streak of being undefeated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so between the start of stage 2 to the end, where they did eventually lose to New York Excelsior, they had the longest consistent run of winning games.
Wow.
So kudos to them. They knocked
good.
It out of the park.
And to take out Spitfire, who were the stage 1 champions.
Yeah, Spitfire were the stage 1 champs. Now, in stage 2, I very much get the sense of it's anybody's game.
Yeah.
Excelsior is still clearly one of those top tier teams, but there's still obviously a lot of room for the other teams to grow. Gladiators, the LA Gladiators suddenly shot up because they acquired Fisher from the Spitfire.
That's right.
That turned out to be a killer acquisition. They almost made it to the playoffs. Unfortunately, they lost to the Boston Uprising right before that, so unfortunate. But in stage 3, God knows what's going to happen.
It's anybody's game.
It's anybody's game. But in between now and when stage 3 officially starts, I'm esports starved. Because
it's not that long of a break, though. It's
not that long of a break,
weeks.
But consider this. I have it on in the background at my job all the time.
Oh.
I listen to that as my background noise.
That's right, because it kicks off in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah, because it kicks off in the middle of the afternoon. And so any time that I need to catch up... Excuse me. I'm choking on my love of Overwatch. I actually just swallowed spit the wrong way. Excuse me.
Take a sip of
Anyways,
that beer.
I need to calm down. I just get so intense
hyped,
about Overwatch League. So what was I saying? I forgot where I was even going with this. Oh, between now and when Stage 3 officially starts, I need something to fill that void. And I recently discovered that Overwatch League's minor league, as it were, Overwatch Contenders, is currently having their own huge, like, stages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that's also being aired on Twitch.
Oh.
I had no idea. Like that's apparently a regular thing.
So does it go in the off season of the?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not even in the off season. It's concurrent.
Oh.
So as Overwatch League is currently on, so is Overwatch Contenders. So basically, Contenders is like essentially the minor league of the official Overwatch League. So a lot of the teams that are competing in Contenders are more or less practice and or feeder teams.
Okay.
Where basically like the big bads of the Overwatch League look to Contenders as their prospective talent pool, which is really interesting because you can kind of get a leg up on where you think Overwatch League is going to go if you look to Contenders and look at where the talent pool is. So of course, as Overwatch League goes on, esports is an exhausting field. It's expected that not everybody that's in it for this current year will maintain their statuses on those same teams next year. Mm-hmm. There's probably going to be many changes. Who knows? And as those changes go through, teams are going to have to find new members. And Contenders is probably where a lot of those members are going to come from.
Yeah.
So I've been watching Contenders, and I have some, like, feelings about it because it's really interesting to see differences in the level of gameplay that I didn't think I would see. Like, I kind of went into Contenders thinking, oh, it's going to be the same difficulty and level of gameplay that I'm used to seeing from Overwatch League. That was not the case. Mm-hmm. Like, I saw teams making mistakes that I make, and I'm like,
so you're like, I could be.
Yeah. I'm like,
literally,
dude,
you're like, I could be a contender.
I could be in Contenders. Not really, because I'm like lowly platinum, so clearly that's absolutely not the case. But still, it's really interesting to see that in Contenders, these very much are like, they're not on the same level as Overwatch League is, which is just a fascinating progression to see as like, wow, maybe I could be. Like, maybe
one
someday,
day I can shoot
if
for the
I
stars.
really practiced, maybe I could be. And additionally, because it's not like real per se, it absolutely is real esports, but it's kind of not because it's like the minor league. All of the teams' names and their respective team logos are like freaking hilarious.
Is that like done in Microsoft Paint and stuff like that?
They're like so funny. One of the teams is Team Bazooka Puppies, but the puppies is spelled Puppiez, and their logo is like literally the face of like a puppy with a bazooka on the shoulder, and I'm like, why?
That's really random and bizarre.
Why Team Bazooka Puppies? Why would you do this? Like, some of them are really serious, like the Copenhagen Flames, for example. That's like a more like legit kind of thing. But like then you've got stuff like Bazooka Puppies and Team Young and Beautiful. They're my current fave in the Euro scene. Young and Beautiful for the win. Beautiful. And what's funny is their icon is like this super hippy dippy smiley rainbow flower. And I'm like, you guys,
they got it going on.
You're my team. Like, it's just really funny to see that like they clearly have the room to breathe and kind of be a little silly and ridiculous. And it's like, this is awesome. I'm all about Contenders now. I won't be able to keep up with it really once Overwatch League starts back up on stage 3. Yeah. But I'm definitely going to keep them like in my back pocket from now on. Like, be like, hey, I should check up on Contenders.
See how they're doing.
See how everybody's doing. Because they have it really broken down by region. It's like New York, Europe, Asia Pacific. Australia has their own separate league. Yeah, indeed. It's just really funny. And even the casters for Contenders, I could swear they picked middle school kids. I know they didn't. They're actually very professional, and the quality of the commentating and the casting is really good.
But they're just
like, actually, the casting and the commentators, top notch. I'm really enjoying it, at least on the Euro scene. But I could swear they like went around to local high schools, and they were like, you want to be in Overwatch Contenders? And they were like, yeah.
I do indeed.
I do indeed. And I was just like, really, kids?
I always think that like I could maybe do casting, but then I think, no, there's no way that I could like keep up and be able to call the plays and call the things and keep up with who was playing as who. I know they have like a lot of practice doing it, but still, It's one of those things I was like, that'd be fun to do, but oh my God.
It looks like a wild job.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the casters, I hope they get paid more than the
I
panel
could just
and
do
the
like
commentators
the
do.
post game
Yeah, you
commentary.
need the
that's where
analysis.
we need to sit. Is like get us in on there in the
on the
analysis.
bench, on the bench.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's just a fun little thing I've been keeping up with. It's fascinating.
Nice.
Everybody should watch Overwatch Contenders.
I'll have to check it out.
Just for the funsies.
Because I don't watch the league religiously, but it's still not. I still tune in every once in a while. Like the Spitfire, like I said, are my kind of chosen team. So I was bummed when they lost out in stage 2. But still,
do you mean the Shitfire? Oh.
Yes, this stage I do. But yeah, I'll check it out. I probably won't. No, I probably won't follow it very religiously either. But
That's
still,
fine. It's just like
I need to see the Bazooka Puppies.
yeah. Oh, Bazooka Puppies, Team
gotta see what
Bazooka
that's about.
Puppies. I can't remember if they won or lost today.
But
I think they lost.
Purely based off of name. Copenhagen Smoke sounds pretty.
Flame.
Oh,
Copenhagen.
damn it!
Ha,
Copenhagen
you suck.
Flame sounds pretty lit. as the
Anyways,
kids say.
I'm all about Team Young and Beautiful. But in other real news, so recently it's been announced that the Xbox One is getting what was previously a PlayStation 4 exclusive.
Ooh, I heard about this.
It's freaking No Man's Sky.
Yeah, and well, I don't want to steal your thunder if that's
So
another
No
one
Man's
too.
Sky is coming to Xbox One this summer 2018, along with a free update called Next.
Which I thought for sure that was already Xbox,
No.
and so I saw that and was like, and this is news. Why?
No, it was a PS4 exclusive.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, so this is news to everybody that cared, question mark? Who
Dylan
knows?
Biles, he cares
Dylan Biles.
He cares about that No Man's Sky. Of course, he's already got it on PS4.
Yeah,
so.
he's already got it. He doesn't need the update. And then the developing studio behind Dead by Daylight, I believe Behavior Digital, they just announced their new project, Death Garden, which sounds fascinating.
It does.
What a name.
It kind of sounds like that could be something but from the name alone, sounds like it could be a Bloodborne-ish
So
or
actually it's not.
Demon Souls type.
So the thing is, it is a 5v1 multiplayer game where 5 players act as hunters, like humanoid hunters.
Yeah.
And they are basically hunting a single solo runner. Like you're just the person trying to get away and these
weird.
other 5, like that
That'd
old
be fun,
story, the Greatest Hunt, or what is it called? The Greatest Game?
Yeah, the greatest game where it's like, man, it's the greatest
it's
game.
exactly like that. So that sounds like
Predator in reverse.
Exactly. It sounds like a Predator in reverse. Yeah, they should rename this to Reverse Predator. What are they thinking? And then in one last bit of Overwatch-related news, this year's Overwatch Uprising event,
Yes.
the fantastic 4-player co-op arcade mode, is returning again on April 10th.
Nice.
So April 10th, we'll all be able to sink our teeth back into Overwatch Uprising. And then out now, as of this episode's air date, April 3rd, Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire hits PC. Extinction coming soon on April 10th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And April's actually a pretty light month for releases,
Yeah.
at least in the early portion. But Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, is coming out for PS4.
I'm hearing a lot about that.
I have heard nothing about it. I know
Well, the big
nothing
thing that I heard
this
about is that they released a demo for it, and then when the first release of the demo, and then they were like, "Oh, accident! That's actually the full game. Whoops! Pull it back."
Whoopsie-doodles!
So they had to be like, "Oh no!" and then put it back out
That's
there.
a pretty fun whoopsies.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, this isn't really a whoopsies, but you can actually sign up for the Death Garden Alpha on their website. So if you're interested in that
Yeah, I
game,
might
if
have
that
to try
sounds
that out. That sounds kinda
fascinating,
fun.
I think you can just sign up for the Alpha right now on, I guess it's just deathgarden.com.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Check it out.
But anyways, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, April 17th.
Nice. So the one that I thought that you were talking about when you brought up the No Man's Sky is it was also announced that Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is coming to Xbox also.
Ooh, that's fun. That's
Yeah.
a good game that definitely deserves a wider platform.
Definitely. It got a lot of attention.
It did.
In awards season and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So,
it won a bunch of awards that were actually kind of shocking.
Yeah, well,
but
again, like we talked about it when it actually happened, but like Melina Juergens, the actress for Senua, like winning, and she had never acted in anything before. She was also the video editor for Ninja Theory and was making like a development blog for the whole process of the game and doing all this other stuff and acted, mocapped it, and then just wins awards.
And it's like
no
God,
big deal.
It must be nice to be so full of talent that you can do any job and be award-winning.
You just want to stand in for a bit? Oh, wait, you're actually great. And oh, yeah, here are awards.
Here are all the awards.
So, no, that's still one that's on my list to play, especially for this year.
I do wonder if she's considering like sticking with that path, or if she's like, no, I actually found it very stressful, and I would prefer to stick with video editing.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting
Someone
to find
should
out.
ask her.
Let's have her on.
Yeah, let's have her on.
Let's reach out.
Let's get her on.
Get our people talking to her people, and we'll get something together. Well, you never know. All right. Well, thank you for all the news and updates and upcoming releases for the next few weeks. But I feel like there was something else on Overwatch I was going to say real quick before we got into it.
That it's the best?
Well, that. Oh, I actually finally got to play as Brigitte.
Oh, now that it's finally not super competitive in quick play.
And I'm not like trying to grind out the last several hours of Assassin's Creed Origins. I actually have time for other things.
There you go.
And so I finally got a chance to play as her. First person I killed, I was very proud of this. And I didn't know this was a thing.
A Genji?
No.
Oh.
A Junkrat. It was on Ilios.
Oh.
He was up on the clock tower in the well, the well map.
Gotcha.
And he was on the clock tower that's to the right. Well,
right.
Well, where
the one that faces the coast side.
Yes, thank you. I was like, I don't know the directions in that game.
It's a windmill, you fool.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Clock tower's anyway, sorry. The tower in this map. So it shows you how long it's been since I really played Overwatch.
It's got big blades rotating on it.
I'm not paying attention to that. I'm scouting for enemies. But anyway, so
when
Junkrat was camped.
You run into them, so it's like, oh, crap.
Junkrat was up on there, shooting down as Junkrat tends to do. I was down below Brigitte, and I was like, I'm gonna pop this mofo with your sling
long
thing.
Range
with the
one?
long range deal. I popped him just as he jumped, and it knocked him off. And I got that trophy.
That's
first kill with Brigitte, and I was like,
"That's so funny.
That's amazing, and I love this."
Oh my god, that's really funny.
So she's actually a lot of fun. I like her a lot.
I've been trying her out every now and then, and she is fun, but I feel like she's not to my play style.
She feels I forget that she's more of a defensive tanky character because she's so light and moves so fast, and so I found myself often rushing way too fast into a battle, and then forgetting that I can't have my shield up and swing or flail all at the same time, and then dying very quickly. Yeah. So she's a fun character, though.
Plus, I feel like I'm
more.
absolutely terrible at the Brigitte v. Brigitte 1v1.
Oh, I haven't really run across that
every time I run into another one, the other one always wins. And I'm like, wow, I'm pooped here at this character. I just need to switch off.
So yeah, so she's a lot of fun. Looking forward to playing a bit more. But that brings us to our main topic of today, which is my first impressions with Far Cry 5.
Oh.
So I've been playing Far Cry 5. The game has been out for a week now at the time of this release of this episode. And so first off, very basic, get out of the way, out of the gate. It is very much Far Cry game.
Is it? It's just super over the top, I guess.
Well, see, and that's the thing about this. I mean, it's a Far Cry game in the sense that it very quickly, there are new additions and things that they change, which is good. But the formula that makes it Far Cry is still very much there. And they haven't really messed with that all that much. Which I'm not complaining about. I like the Far Cry style. I loved all the previous games, and this one seems to be no different so far. But the big thing is like it very much is you could be attacked at any second. Danger is literally all around. It could be from humans. It could be from animals. You can be strolling down a street on a sunny day and get run over by somebody driving a car. You know, it's like all this stuff.
That sounds too stressful.
It kind of is. And I'm also, because I've had so much Far Cry experience under my belt. Like I've played 3, 4, part of Blood Dragon, and Primal. So 4 of the Far Cry games. And I'm playing it on hard difficulty. I'm pretty sure I played Primal on hard difficulty. And
Easy mode.
I pretty much do that now.
Easy
I realize
mode.
is like I just play the game as like hard as like the standard difficulty that I go for on most games.
You're such a try-hard.
I just want that trophy. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna finish the game, I might as well get the highest level of difficulty completion trophy that I can.
I feel like you should get 3 trophies if you finish it on easy mode, just for like consolation prizes.
But
unpopular opinion hashtag.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that's all real trophy hunters scoff at.
Real trophy hunters play on easy mode.
That's round 2 and 3 probably when they're trying to get those last little like finding trophies, location looting ones, and all that. But let's see. I will say, though, that this one, though, seems to take itself less seriously.
Really?
As other Far Cry games have in the past. And I think it's a combination of just like, it is kind of. And I'm not totally sure how I feel about that yet. So obviously, since this is first impressions, I'm not going to go super into the story as much as what you've pretty much already seen in marketing and advertising for Far Cry 5. Basically, it's set in Montana. So it's at home in the U.S., not some African nation or tropical islands, things like that, like previous games have, or an Asian country.
I have an aunt that lives in Montana.
Oh, yeah?
Was she in it?
What's her name?
Did you run into a Sherry?
Not yet, but I feel like I've heard people talk about Sherry.
Yeah, if you see her. That's my aunt.
All right, cool. I'll let her know. I'll be like, oh, hey, I know you. Know you through somebody.
So you have to save her.
Okay,
do not kill my aunt.
Okay, I'll try not to. I've already accidentally killed a couple civilians. I'm like, oh, I feel real bad about that. But anyway, so I don't know. It kind of seems that they're embracing more of the feel, because the story is very much so. It's set in Hope County, Montana. Basically, a cult, the Project Eden's Gate, has taken over this county of Montana, and they've become very militarized. So much so, like in the beginning cutscenes, like the sheriff is like very hesitant to even go there and try to do anything about it. That's all I'm going to say about that. I will say though, the opening cutscene and stuff like that is crazy. Like, it's pure Far Cry fashion, just kicks it off with insanity right at the gate.
You'll have to tell me about it after the episode.
So you go there, and there's this cult that's taken over, and it's led by the father, Joseph Seed, but he's called pretty much referred to as the father, and then his siblings run it. His brother Jacob, John, and then Faith, their sister. And so they kind of control this, and that is kind of an interesting thing, though, that is different from past. Not totally different from Primal, where Primal had like different areas of the map that was like sectioned off into this tribe's territory. This one does the same thing. Like, there's Jacob's territory, John's territory, and Faith's territory. And you have to pretty much, I'm assuming you have to defeat all of them. And then once you do that, you draw the father out.
So typical Bowser's Children setup, where you have to go to every castle and fight all of Bowser's rando
You have to
offspring.
like do all this different stuff,
and
take over this and all
Bowser.
that.
Gotcha.
Exactly. So yeah, you understand the protocol here.
I get the concept.
Yeah. You're on board. And so, so that's pretty much all I'm going to say about the story. Don't want to get too much into this. But yeah, so it does seem that, I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but it does seem, that it's taking more of it's seemingly to be how it thinks of itself and how you play it. It seems to be more embracing the chaos than past games do. Like, this one, I feel like the enemy, again, I've played a lot of Far Cry. I feel like I know what I'm talking about, but I feel like this one has a lot more enemies, like, just around.
Just like chilling?
Just chilling. Like, I feel like it's honestly like I can't walk without hitting somebody that's going to try to attack me.
I wish that in cases like that, you could have options to like non-violently encounter people, like through bribes, shady
pay them
deals.
Off, something like that,
like I think that would be a really fun little side thing that maybe you could work, or even just stun them.
Yeah.
But are there pacifist ways to play Far Cry, or are you just killing people?
You're
just killing people.
I mean, you can like do takedowns, which are melee things, but even then, like, if you come up behind somebody, you're gonna snap their neck.
Whoa! So even if you stealth kill somebody,
you're not knocking them out.
Oh,
you're killing.
I can't play that game.
It's.
I am raised on Dishonored. I have to maintain my honor. I must play on pacifist mode.
No, there's no pacifist mode with Far Cry.
The Pikmin will not respect my leadership if
Everyone
they
respects
know.
your leadership in Far Cry if you do this. So, I mean, in typical Far Cry fashion, there are outposts that you have to clear that release control from the bad guys into this. Now, I will say, though, that this takes an interesting turn on this, because the whole thing kind of kicks off with the cult basically like getting ultra militarized and taking over everything. And so you're trying to basically at this point lead a resistance. You're not trying to,
Oh, so you're a resident of Hope County.
You're actually a deputy, which is interesting that this is one of the first times you're actually a qualified character to be doing these huge military exploits that you take care of in the Far Cry games. In Far Cry 3, you're just a tourist kid who just like gets his friends kidnapped, and then you have to like go on this crazy adventure. Far Cry Primal, okay, you're a hunter in that one, but still. So you're a little bit more qualified in that one. Far Cry 4, you're just this kid who grew up in the U.S. and then comes to, Karat, I think is what is what the country is called. And you basically just go there because your father was there and he was a resistance fighter there. And then you just kind of get thrown into all this too. So this one, you actually seem fairly qualified for the task at hand. I know
it would never happen, but how funny would it be if games like Far Cry open up with you having to take like a police exam to like see if you're actually qualified?
Can you do this? No.
It's like, no. And if you fail the exam, you don't get to play the game.
Yeah. So you got these outposts you got to clear. You have, and then obviously there are animals you can hunt. You unlock a bunch of weapons and perks. You can take over like these ranger towers and cell towers. That is one of the bigger changes though. In previous Far Cry games, you always had to take out these cell tower, radio towers, things like that. And what they would do is it would basically defog the map for you. Like a section of the map would unfog now.
Like in Breath of the Wild when you activate the towers.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
But this one is a little different where you don't have to do that. You unfog purely by exploration.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which is kind of interesting because it keeps things way more secretive, but also it almost encourages the exploration.
See, actually, I like that a lot.
I do too.
Like that idea.
I like it a lot so far because it isn't so much of, okay, well, there's this one over here. I got to go hit that. So then I can see what's around. You just walk around. And so the whole thing's kind of this, it's the real kind of fog of war. Everything's kind of a mystery. And you're like, I don't know what I'm going to run into.
Now, on your map, let's say that you're exploring a section that borders Jacob and John's territories. Yep. If you had explored up to the border, would you be able to see a line on the map that indicates?
On the map, yes, not in the actual game.
No, that's what I assumed. That's what I was asking.
Yeah. And then when you cross over, it says like entering new territory.
Oh, okay. So it alerts you.
So it alerts you when you've changed. Because obviously, if you're working really hard to clear out the bad guys in one area, you don't want to get sidetracked if you're trying,
Right.
If you decide to take more of a systematic, I'm going to do this guy first, then this guy, then this one. You can have that option.
See, that chaos always happens in Breath of the Wild,
where
you just can't figure it out.
That's pretty much my story of my life in that game. I can't figure anything out. But so let's see. So I do like that really more linear mode of discovery and exploration that it has. Like I said, it's easy to be overwhelmed, especially on a hard mode, but I've even read people who are playing it on more difficult, normal difficulties, stuff like that. You die really easy. So you have to really be careful with, how you pick your guard, cover, how you engage the enemies so that way you don't just get suddenly swarmed. Because if you take out, say, you see two guys and you don't tag them through your binoculars, which can show you like what type of unit they are, what type of enemy they are. One guy could have a radio and he calls in like 30 guys and like a helicopter.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
So you got to really plan how you do this.
Dang.
Now, the nice thing is though, they updated a system for previous Far Cry games that does kind of help with that. And it's the guns for hire mode. In Far Cry 4, I remembered you could have guns for hire, but you had like a set limit of them, and you would call them in. Basically, you called them in, they would help you clear out this one outpost, whatever, and then they would leave. This one, you can hire residents of Hope County that you interact with, like either you saved them from Eden's Gate, which in the game they're called Peggies because Project Eden's Gate, they call them all, they refer to the cultists as Peggies.
That's because I have an Aunt Peggy.
See, I was just thinking,
dude, why are all of my aunts in this game? That's the real question.
But
is the game trying to tell me something?
I don't know. Maybe you should check it in your aunts in Montana.
Maybe I should. Oh God.
But so you rescue residents from the Peggies and all that, and then you can sometimes, not all of them, but some of them you can hire them to be a gun for hire, and then you can call them and assign them to be on your side. I think you can unlock having to be able to have 4 with you at a time. Right now, I can only have 1. And so you can either choose between the gunfire, which there are different classes. There are like soldier ones who pretty much, they have an assault rifle, they go. I've run into a couple people and I hired one who is long range and he just has a bow and arrow. It's super nice to have.
He sounds awesome.
And as they get more kills, they unlock like special perks. Like the soldier one guy that I have right now, Hank Crawford. He can repair your vehicle. If it takes damage, he can repair it while you're driving around and stuff like that.
That's a very cool feature.
It is very nice because they're totally orderable. They're not just like AI doing their own thing. You can tell him to like, hey, stand here. I'm going to take this by myself, or you don't even have to have them assigned at all, or you can have them target specific units. So say the long range guy, I want him to take out the guy who's got the radio. I can tag that guy and be like, you take him down. I'm going to sneak around here, take out the other guys.
Do you ever feel like that version of giving orders is more burdensome than it is helpful?
Usually, yes. And I would actually never use guns for hire in past Far Cry games because I didn't like dealing with it. This one, I've used it a lot and I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
So it's a plus. Now they do have specialist guns for hire, who are so you've probably seen in all the advertisements, stuff like that, Boomer the dog.
Oh, your doggo.
He's a specialist.
Your pupperoo.
I love Boomer.
That is fantastic.
I love Boomer so much. And so you can get quite a few of those. There's actually one character, Herc, who's also a gun for hire, and I think he pops up. I can't remember if he's in... I think he's in Far Cry 3. I know for sure he is in Far Cry 4. And then, even though it was set in the Stone Age, he's in Far Cry Primal. But he's like the... So...
That's really funny.
It is really funny.
That's fantastic.
He doesn't look like a modern day person. He obviously looks like a caveman. But in 3 and 4, he's like this very like Southern boy. He's got like wears a bandana around his head, you know, and like I think he even has like a mullet, handlebar mustache. And he's like,
my God.
Come on, man, let's go, brother. And all this, like, kind of that's how he talks. Well, you run into him in Far Cry Primal. And he's this like, and I obviously can't remember the language or how they speak it and everything because you're the caveman, but he's like, watch it, like he's talking in this language with this like Southern hick accent. I can't do it. I'm doing terrible impression.
No, that was good.
Like,
that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
It's like a funny little Easter egg that they just keep carrying over.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
He's in 5. And so, oh man, it's some good stuff.
Please clip that and send it to me. That is so funny.
And so he's in there too. So, but these specialists can do different things. They're like Boomer. Since he's the only one I've played with, he can actually, if he takes down an enemy, he can like grab their gun and bring it to you for either more ammo, or if you don't have that gun, something like that. He can also go ahead and go around and loot dead enemies to get all their stuff for you and just bring it to you. He can also, he's very good at identifying. He'll tag enemies without you having to pull up your binoculars to do it. So nice. He's pretty useful. I'm interested to see how all the other ones are incorporated into the game too. And so that's a really fun system, and I like how much they've updated that. So one big thing, though, about clearing out the different territories of the map is this is a new thing also. You gain resistance points for either by saving residents, clearing outposts, destroying enemy vehicles, silos, storage facilities, different things like that. And what those do, you'll hit like check marks. And so like I hit the first check mark in John's territory, and basically there's like, okay, they're going to start blockading roads now. So like they're pushing back. So it's like you're pushing against them, they're going to push back. It's not going to be like this like very like you just slowly start steamrolling them. Like they're going to start fighting back harder.
That's really interesting.
Which is a really cool thing. In fact, because of that, like I hit the first checkpoint and they're like, you're marked. And so they actually came and a capturing party is what it was called, came and tried to get me, and they succeeded in capturing me, which kicked off like a main story mission part of it. So it works. It intertwines. The story intertwines itself a lot. You don't feel like you have to take like this hard set linear path on the missions.
Now, was that a scripted event, or was there an option where you would actually successfully escape them?
I don't know, because I haven't run across that again. So I'm interested to see if I do run into another clearing party in another territory, if the same thing would happen.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to know if that's scripted, like if that's a mandatory event, or if that is in fact something that you can avoid if you play your cards right.
If you're good, yeah.
Give us the update on that once you figure it out.
I'm hoping that it is something that can, because that'd be kind of cool. If like you get so high that like they specifically start targeting you, seeing these big roving groups of bad guys to try to get you. Like it throws another layer into all this. Let's see. Skills, and I thought this was an interesting change too. Most games, like in Assassin's Creed Origins, Far Cry was like this too. The older Far Cry games are like this too. You have the skill tree.
Right, of course.
And
classic RPG staple.
Right. You level up, you get points. This one has changed it in that you get perk points now, which you get by completing challenges in the game, like killing so many enemies with grenades. Skinning so many grizzly bears.
So kind of like trophies, but built into your skill tree.
Yes, kind of.
Ooh,
and so
that's interesting.
It'll give you these points. And then the cool thing is, as long as you have the points to buy an upgrade, a perk, you can. They're not usually like locked behind, you have to get this one, this one, this one, this one, this one before you can get this one.
Oh, so they're not actually linked in the tree fashion.
Right.
They're like standalone
There are a
skills.
couple that are like health upgrade 1, health upgrade 2, health upgrade 3.
That makes sense.
4. You can't get upgrade 4 before you've got 1, 2, and 3. So there are a
but
couple of them.
Why not?
I know, right?
What were the developers
thinking? Maxed out right at the bat. And they all have varying costs. Like some are 6. I've seen some that are like 10 perk points. Anywhere in between 1 and 10, I think. I thought that was interesting that you can really customize your character out with the skills and points, and then those perks that you have unlocked carry over into the multiplayer.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So it's an interesting way. Yeah. Now, the thing is, too, that I realized, because I have played a little bit of the multiplayer, and the perk points that you unlock in multiplayer also can carry over and be used in single player. That I'm not as much a fan of.
Wait, I'm sorry. So you can get perk points in multiplayer
because they're multiplayer challenges,
that
and those
carry
perk
into
points
single player.
carry over into single player. I'm not as big a fan of that.
That sounds like you could really game the system if you had a core group of friends that you could play multiplayer with. I feel
but
like
again,
that's
it's kind of thing you're not playing against. I understand how it's harmless and the fact that you're not playing against somebody. I mean, in the multiplayer is the only time you're actually playing against another person. So I can understand that. I just don't like that. That almost makes the single player seem easy.
Yeah, because I feel like you could get hard carried. Like, let's say that you're new to Far Cry 5, and you go into the multiplayer, and you've got a couple of friends that are already seasoned pros, and they kind of carry you to those points.
Yeah, help you get the kills. Tell you
they
all
just
that stuff.
help you level up. I mean, I'm sure that the average gamer probably isn't going to abuse that system, but I have a little bit of a problem not seeing flaws with that system.
Same. And so I like that it's not a linear skill tree, like that you can literally pick and choose. I like that.
That's actually a fascinating
I just don't like
development.
I don't like that it crosses over from the multiplayer to the single player.
I agree.
Other cool little feature, the map is 3D, which is cool.
Big pardon?
So like Assassin's Creed Origins, this is the only thing that I can kind of think of that's similar. The map that
comparable?
Thank you. The map that you look at to like see where locations are, not the one that you're actually sitting there playing in. Obviously that's 3D. But the map, like Origins, you could tell there was depth. Like if there was a tall mountain, you could tell like this point was higher. You could kind of like see the terrain breakdown. This one legitimately is like a 3D model that you can like kind of like look around and like look at different angles. It's just a fun little thing. Like I don't really think it gives any benefit other than that. It's just fun that it's not like this flat thing you look at.
I feel like that would have been profoundly helpful in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
That would have been so helpful.
Like I know it has like the terrain marks that show it's a mountain and stuff like that, but no,
still, that's a
you
really
can see
cool
how high
perk.
the mountain is.
You can see how far you have to get with your stamina wheel.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, that's kind of fun.
This
is a different thing that has not been in Far Cry before. This game has character customization, a character creator, which I was originally like, why?
Because
I was like, it's a first-person shooter. Why am I going to see this? But then I realized it goes way better into the multiplayer because multiplayer when you die, obviously you can see yourself. Obviously, when you see the other people, like it can kind of be fun to see this other stuff. And then you can like pay game money. There are microtransactions in that you can buy silver bars that then allow you to buy things, but nothing that is pay to win. Like you can't buy perk points with your silver bars.
So it's just for customization.
Exactly.
Okay, that's
purely
fine.
cosmetic.
Yeah.
There are no loot boxes, I'm pretty sure. It's all just, here it is.
Okay.
And so anyway, and I was really like, I'll just pick out a random costume and I'll be like, oh, okay, this is fine. I don't need any more than this. But then I was perusing the Reddits and saw that they have like a For Honor shirt that you can buy that has like the logos of the 3 factions in For Honor on it. I was like, I want that shirt.
Okay, so here's my question. Last time on the most recent episode, we talked about how in Assassin's Creed, one of the fancy armor sets was kind of from For Honor, correct?
Yep.
Why is For Honor making it into all of these other games?
I mean, so you could also buy something from Rainbow Six Siege, Ghost Recon.
Give me Mario Party shirts.
Are those Ubisoft?
You sure?
But you can also buy like Rabbids things and stuff like that. Other Ubisoft properties, you can buy like branded shirts and stuff like that.
I know that they wouldn't, but I would kill for a Child of Light shirt, which technically is Ubisoft Montreal.
Okay, but you know what? You said that last episode where you're like, I need more from Ubisoft Montreal. Far Cry 5 is from Ubisoft Montreal.
Wait, is it for real?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean that branch.
So I was like, aha, wish granted.
Wish granted. I wished too hard, and this is what I got.
Let me see.
What I specifically meant was a Child of Light 2.
I want to
Adult of Light.
Double check myself. Adult of Light. Yeah, Ubisoft Montreal.
Oh my God, that's so stupid. Why?
So,
and Ubisoft Toronto. Yeah, that's different.
But it's still
different.
It's still Montreal. That's what you wanted.
Torontoians. Who knows what they do in their spare time?
So the character customization was a thing that I was like, I don't understand why this is here, but now I kind of get, and I'm kind of more on board with. And so
so what'd you make your character look like?
I mean, he's just he's got a hat, he's got a trucker hat, he's got the For Honor shirt, he's got like some jeans.
Please make him look like a frat bro.
You can.
Please give him a polo and khakis and Crocs.
So that's the kind of the thing that I was saying kind of makes it feel like it's not trying to take itself too seriously and more embracing like the Grand Theft Auto Online because of how you can kind of have a ridiculous costumes.
You can kind of be like a silly fool.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm kind of like, interesting. Because Far Cry games in the past have always kind of had this, they're ridiculous and chaotic, yes, but they've always had a very kind of a grounded, serious tone to them. There have been ridiculous things that happen. But this one kind of seems to be more embracing some of this, the silly chaotic. And I'm not knocking it for that yet. I haven't finished the game yet, so I'm not totally sure how that's going to go.
That's a really interesting point to bring up because I do feel like, at least from my perspective, having never played a Far Cry game, but having seen enough of them to feel like I know what I'm expecting, like with this silly, ridiculous, over-the-top gameplay. From all of the marketing I saw for Far Cry 5, it seemed like it was branding itself as
Very
this more
seriously.
serious gameplay experience.
So I'm trying to
this is actually like shocking information to me to find out that, at least from your perspective, that is not the case.
Yeah. So I'm wondering how much that's going to carry over to the story itself. Like I haven't played that many main story missions because, I don't want to beat the game too fast.
This is your problem, Jerrett.
I gotta have time to derp around to figure out what's what. But so I am interested to kind of see how that plays out more in the end. I've read some things about like how the story goes online from other reviews that they're like, it's not, it's like kind of saying the same thing. So I'm interested to see how that kind of carries over for myself. Okay, so the last little thing that I want to kind of touch on real quick is the multiplayer aspect of it. The Far Cry Arcade is what they call it. And
blatant ripoff of Overwatch.
I played it a little bit, and I've never really played Far Cry for the multiplayer.
So for those people like me who really don't know what to expect from a Far Cry multiplayer at all, describe what the mode is. Like I don't even have a good framework for this.
Far Cry 4 was the last one that I kind of remember playing. It was basic, team deathmatch style, some objective based game modes and different things like that. But it was all set. Ubisoft made maps, all this other stuff. The Far Cry Arcade has the ability for people to create their own maps. And there's like a lobby where people can create their own maps. You'll play on those maps. And I haven't really ran across very many actual Ubisoft created ones.
Huh.
So it's kind of this big thing. It's kind of trying to embrace that sandbox, like anything can happen kind of stuff of like Grand Theft Auto GTA Online. So that's where I'm kind of like, and again, it's not necessarily like Grand Theft Auto Online is not my cup of tea. I tried it, not a big fan. And that's how I'm feeling with this. Apparently it's supposed to get some pretty crazy stuff later, and there's more things of it that I haven't played yet, some other more like co-op modes and different stuff like that. But what I played of just pure team deathmatch, it was fun. I enjoyed it, but I don't like necessarily the whole thing that it's based around purely a lot of like the main stuff you're going to play on is user created content. Because there's not an easy way yet because it's so early to be able to be like, here's the best stuff. Like I played on one that was just a shitty map.
Really?
Like it was just it was very bare bones, just kind of pretty
like
shitty.
Like bottom of the barrel Mario Maker.
But then I played this one that was like somebody had made it after the Pac-Man map.
Oh, that's
And it was
fun.
totally dark and you were playing it in night vision goggles and it was chaos. It was ridiculous.
Sounds phenomenal.
And it was pretty fun. So it's like I'm having fun with it. I don't hate it. I'm just like, but I'd also like to have a few like Ubisoft maps made by Ubisoft in here. I'd like to have an option to only play those maps.
That's actually really surprising to me that they don't have a way to choose in lobby.
And maybe I've missed it. I looked around for it when I was playing through, but I didn't readily see it and readily find it.
Because it seems like, for example, the best example for this, I hate to harp on it, but is Overwatch, in that you have both arcade mode and then custom games.
Right.
And custom game is where people go to basically make their own rules, and this kind of sounds like that. So I do wonder...
Yeah, because you can change like combat modifiers.
Yeah, if that's the case, why aren't they separate? And they should be separate.
Right.
Like I feel like creator and developer created content should be intentionally separate in your player search from custom created, player created content.
And that's how I feel too. So right now it seems kind of like a
duh.
mess. And so I'm interested to see if that will be like worked with. Again, previous Far Cry games didn't have this. So this is a new thing. They're probably trying it out and seeing all this. It sounds like from what I've heard talk about some of the different modes or upcoming things and other things that I probably haven't even got into yet. And the game, again, it's only been out for a week. That, I might have more fun with it later. But for now, I'm with most Far Cry games, I focus on the single player only. That's kind of what I'm here for.
And I mean, at least to their credit, Far Cry games are very strong in their single player mode.
Yes, yeah, they always have good stories. So I'm enjoying my time with the game for sure. I am somewhat surprised by how much hesitation I have to some things.
Hesitation.
Just with I'm curious how this is going to go. Like Primal, I knew people really didn't like that well. I loved Primal.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of heard that people thought its story wasn't very good and all that stuff. I had a blast with Primal.
Yeah, all I heard from you was good things. So
who else do you need to turn to?
Exactly. I didn't delve too deep into what other people wanted to know.
Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see where this goes. We'll see what comes with it. But I am really enjoying it. I am very interested to see how this goes. Like I said, the opening parts of the story and the opening cutscene have been really crazy in pure Far Cry fashion. So I'm interested to see where it is. And, in Far Cry 3, I talked about the mission that I loved. I was like, oh, this is it. This is where I loved it. Because Far Cry 3 was the first Far Cry game I'd played where you have to go in and burn the marijuana fields. And I was like, this is awesome. It had that cool song playing. I haven't hit that mission yet. There is one, though, that I've seen a lot about online, and I just got to it, though. It's a side mission where basically this town that you help liberate has, small town things do. They have a festival, and it's the testicle festival. They have a lot of different ways to cook up cow testicle, but you have to help.
Rocky Mountain oysters, if you will.
Well, and it was really funny because the guy who's introduced that you're talking to introduce the quest, throws out all these different names for
That's
for it.
Really funny.
It was really funny. I was like, this sounds right. This feels right.
This seems very Far Cry.
And so in the town, there's actually a billboard for it, and I took a screenshot of it because it just says Falls In Testicle Festival.
Oh my God. That's obscene.
It's hilarious.
Fine.
So I need to share it because I'm going to share it on Twitter with just the caption just being yeehaw.
Yeehaw. I'm going to report them to the FCC.
So I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm having a blast. I'm curious to see where some of my hesitations with the game, how those are going to play out and how I'm going to feel with them by the end. But obviously, I'll come back here and share my final thoughts once I do complete the main story of the game.
I'm looking forward to that final review.
Yes, it should be a good one. Okay, well, that concludes my first impressions of it. And I know at the beginning of this, I said we were going to go over that article on the development of Rime, but I think we don't want to run too long. We try to keep these in about an hour. And
We've just been so riveted.
I know
by the discussion.
Far Cry is so riveting. You know what I'm saying?
Also, I kind of went way overboard with Overwatch Contenders. My bad.
We talk about what we want to talk about on the show. And that's what's great about it.
I'm very
we get
passionate.
to choose what we want to talk about.
That's right. It is our show. Goddammit.
It is indeed. So we will touch on the Rime topic. Probably save it for a future episode, probably next week or something like that. We'll fit it back in because I really enjoyed reading about it. It was some stuff going on about Rime that I didn't really know.
Yeah.
And so kind of was a little eye-opening. So we'll share that Eurogamer article, but we'll come back to that in a future episode. But before we go, we do have to have our soundtrack spotlight for this week. So Mogan, why don't you introduce that for us?
So there's not a lot of super fancy top hat, high tier information about this particular.
It's an oldie.
About this particular track, largely because it is such an oldie. But that being said, it is a fantastic. It's a fantastic track to close us out because it is from our viewer, Candace. So Candace, some of you may know, is the lady friend of our friend and fan of the show, Cody Peck.
Cody.
So Candace, I always hear her in the background of our Overwatch games because Cody's my Overwatch gaming bro, and I'm like, Candace, tell her I love her. So Candace submitted Space Quest 3's intro song. I think you're really going to enjoy it.
So I had never heard of this game before until you played it for me when you got here.
But man,
and
isn't that intro track killer?
It's really good. And the thing about it that I was like, oh, this is old. I had no information because it starts off and you see the old Sierra Games logo pop up.
So old.
I was like, holy crap.
So she asked me before she submitted it, she was like, would a really obscure game be out of the question? I was like, hell no.
Absolutely no.
Yeah, so for future reference, submit any freaking track you want. It can be from any amount of time. So Candace, thank you for the submission. We are enjoying it tremendously. Space Quest 3 intro theme.
Boom. There you have it, everyone. But with that, that concludes this episode of Team Chat Podcast. If you have played Far Cry 5, started in on it, and let us know what your initial thoughts on the game are by sending us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com or submitting a comment on our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, or in the YouTube comments below for those of you watching on YouTube. But with that, I'm one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Sayonara.
We'll see you all next time. Stick around for the song.